What's going on, everybody? It's Voodoo 51292 with you, and welcome to another channel update. This update is going to cover the week of Monday, February 27th through Sunday, March the 4th of 2012. So already we are going into the third month of the year. Year's going by very fast already, I have to say, but a lot of things that we need to kind of get to, talk about, explain. So let's go ahead and kick off the channel update as we always do with a recap of the previous week. Now, this past week was supposed to be a week that I would be doing a co-op playthrough of the game Syndicate, which was released on Tuesday, February 21st. Also, the game Azura's Wrath was released on the 21st, so I was planning on doing that in a couple of weeks when I had some time off, so I wouldn't have to try to do 2 games in 1 week. Well, to make a long story short, it didn't go as planned. Basically, GameFly is taking longer than usual to get my games, it seems, when I send them out. It's taking them 4 to 5 days now to get my games, when previously it had only taken 2 to get the game when I would send it off. So, because of that, I sent the game back in what I thought was plenty enough time to get back. Apparently it was not, because GameFly, as I said, took a long time to get that game back. And it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because they actually sent out the games that were releasing on the 21st earlier, 2 days earlier than they normally do. They usually ship new releases on Mondays. They actually shipped them on Saturday this past week, and so it was basically all screwed up. And because of that, I did not get my games sent to me, or any game, I should say, sent to me this week, because I was only planning on doing Syndicate. So, because I didn't have the game to play early in the week, I instead kicked off the week with some footage of the Mass Effect 3 demo. I did the single-player demo, did five videos of the whole single-player demo for Mass Effect 3. Certainly different from Mass Effect 1. I haven't played any of Mass Effect 2, but it's certainly different from Mass Effect 1 as far as the gameplay. Seems to be a lot more simplified than it has been in previous, or at least in the first Mass Effect. The leveling system seems to be more simplified. So, just an interesting experience for me playing a new iteration of Mass Effect. So I did the single player demo, and then I teamed up with Brandon, Travis, and a friend of Travis's, Dan, who may or may not be his friend now. I don't know, that's a different story. But we all teamed up and played the Mass Effect 3 co-op mode demo, which had 2 maps, and basically it's kind of like a horde mode, but they'll have like 3 waves in a row of like horde mode, just kill all the enemies. Then they'll have a wave where you have to do an objective. Then after that they'll have a couple more modes of kill everyone, then another objective. And the game was, either the game was difficult or we were just really bad at the game, because we didn't do very well, but it was hilarious, alright? The footage was funny, and it was some of the funniest stuff I think I've ever put up on my channel. We were all just screwing around, messing around with each other, having fun, laughing, and even though we weren't good at it, it was a lot of fun playing that co-op. And I think, like I said, it's some of the funniest stuff I put up ever on my channel. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. Mass Effect 3 co-op demo gameplay, full 4-player co-op. So be sure to go check that, check out that playlist. It's pretty funny. So we did that, and then as the week progressed, it was getting to a point where Travis and Brandon almost started playing Syndicate without me. I said, you know what, guys, GameFly's screwing up. I don't think I'm going to get the game this week, so you guys just go ahead and do it, and I'll figure out something I'll do with it later. Well, on Friday night, I had a last-ditched attempt. I actually went home for the weekend, and there's a Blockbuster by my house. There is not one close to me anymore here by my apartment. So I went to the Blockbuster by my house. Lo and behold, they had the game. So I rented the game from Blockbuster, came home Friday night. Now, the first thing that happened was I actually got a realization, because I was under the impression that Syndicate only had one campaign that you could play either co-op or by yourself. Well, come to find out, Syndicate actually does have a normal single-player campaign, and the co-op mode is like a bonus mode, which I didn't know we were kind of disappointed in that, because basically the co-op mode is set up like a Brink was, where basically you have, in this game, Syndicate, you have 9 maps, 9 locations, and basically you have to play a co-op. You go to these maps, and basically, you win the map individually. You'll go through the map, wipe out some enemies, you'll have an objective, you need to move this from point A to point B, defend this area for a certain amount of time, then wipe out these enemies, and you'll go through and basically complete the stages, which, of gameplay, I'd say they're probably 20 minutes or so of actual gameplay. If you go right through it, 20 to 30 minutes, I would say, per map. So a good amount of content, but we were disappointed because there's no story. It's not like a real campaign. There's no storyline here. It's just challenge maps, basically. So we were disappointed at that. Then we started playing the game over Xbox Live, Brandon, Travis, and myself, and the game starts freezing up. Every time we try to play the game freezes. We actually learned that there is a ridiculous bug with this game where if you're using parties on Xbox Live, the game actually bugs out and freezes every single person's console who's in the party. It bugs out and crashes your system. You have to restart it. A ridiculous, outlandish bug to have in a game that doesn't work with Xbox Live parties for the co-op mode, which obviously you're going to be in a party if you're playing the game co-op. But anyway, I won't go too much into that in this video, but very frustrating. We figured that out. We went back, tried it again without the party system, just us in the game, solved the freezing issue. It didn't freeze again, but we got to the end of the 3rd level, and by this time we were already so frustrated with all the things that had transpired in the week trying to get the game, then figuring out that the co-op mode really wasn't a campaign, then with the game freezing on us all night, and the game was brutally difficult up until this point. The game goes into this ridiculous final boss fight of the 3rd chapter of co-op mode, which is insanely difficult and seems almost impossible to beat. We must have replayed it 100 times. That's a little exaggerated, but literally we played it probably about 10 times. We tried to beat this room. We could not do it. We were so angry that we were actually angry not only at the game, but we were starting to get angry at each other, and we started attacking each other for each other's gameplay and stuff because we were so angry. And we just called it off. We said, listen, this is ridiculous. The game is so bad. We're so frustrated. We're getting angry at each other. It's a game. It's not worth it. We're done. So we quit. We're finished with Syndicate Co-op. It sucks. Alright? It's got a game-breaking bug on the Xbox. It freezes it if you're in a party. And it's brutally difficult to the point where it's not even enjoyable. It's just insanely difficult, and it's just stupid. So that was a big disappointment. So unfortunately, that is what it is. Now, because I rented it from Blockbuster, I had to bring it back the next day, or they were going to start charging me $2 a day extra every day that I held it after the first day. And since I had to come back up here tonight on Sunday, I would have had to have the game out for like 5 extra days, and I would have had to pay $10 in total to keep this game. There was no way I was doing that. So I brought it back to Blockbuster. Now, I will get the game eventually from GameFly again, and I will be doing the single-player campaign of Syndicate, which I hope to God salvages some of that game, because the co-op is balls, and then, of course, I can do my review, alright? So, after all of that, I capped off the weekend on Sunday, very early morning, with episode 4 of Voodoo's Brew, and another good episode, I thought. Brandon and I talked about Mardi Gras, which just passed this last week. We talked a little bit about that, my experiences with it. We talked about the pretty bad start to the gaming year in 2012 with these games such as Twisted Metal and Syndicate that Brandon and I are unfortunately having to quit in the middle of because the games are so bad that we can't finish. Brandon doesn't even have a complete playthrough up yet on his channel because he didn't do The Darkness 2. We talked about that. We talked about an interesting bill that was proposed and shot down recently in the state of Oklahoma, which wanted to add a tax to certain video games. We discussed that a bit. Then we talked about some gaming news, some things that are coming out and things since our last episode. And then we talked a little bit about what's going on with our channels, what our future plans are. So a pretty good episode, about an hour and a half episode, so go check out episode 4. We'll have a new one, of course, in 2 weeks. We do these once every 2 weeks, and we will be having a guest on the next episode, okay? So go check out episode 4 if you haven't. It's a good episode. So that was last week. Kind of another screwed up week where things didn't really go smoothly. You know, at this point last year in 2011, I was just gearing up to basically go on my long list of games for the first half of 2011. I had done Dead Space 2 by this point, and I was ready to jump into games like Killzone 3 and all these other games that came out, and I was on basically a pretty good clip, a pretty good schedule last year in 2011. I think it went pretty much like clockwork when I first started the channel. So far this year, save for the Darkness 2, which I did relatively well, in Gotham City Imposters that week, every other week so far has been kind of chaotic and in disarray. And it doesn't stop, unfortunately, for the next couple weeks. And we're going to talk about that right now. So let's talk about this week coming up, right? I discussed in the past, or last week, I guess, that I was considering skipping Binary Domain in favor of doing Syndicate and Azura's Wrath because of what happened with Syndicate. And basically, I explained this, how it would give me basically 3 weeks to do Azura's Wrath and Syndicate. Well, plans have changed again, okay? Because I've heard their feedback, their reviews on Azura's Wrath, and basically bottom line is that game is nothing but an interactive cutscene basically for 6 hours. And it looks like they tried to do something similar to Heavy Rain, where it's not very intricate gameplay, but it's more about the story and stuff. Unfortunately, what I've heard is the story of Azura's Wrath is nowhere near good enough to support itself like Heavy Rain was. So I only wanted to play that game because it looked a little different. It was something that kind of I wasn't used to, and I wanted to branch out. But unfortunately, from what I heard, there's really no gameplay in the game. It's not really even a video game. It's just an interactive anime series, basically. And that's not interesting to me, alright? If the plot was really good, if people had said, hey, this plot is really good, I would have considered doing it anyway, but for me, I'm not interested in it anymore. And what DSP recommended in his Hateful Truth review was basically it's better to just watch a playthrough of this game, because it's almost like I said, watching an anime series, and he said it's probably better to watch a playthrough than actually play the game yourself. So that's what I intend on doing. I'm going to watch his playthrough, so I'm exposed to the game, I know what's going on, I'm still in the know about these games, I don't fall behind, but I'm not going to be doing Azura's Wrath. Instead, I will be doing Binary Domain this week. I want to get back and do new releases and do gameplay. So I'm going to be doing Binary Domain this week. Now, I don't know hardly anything about Binary Domain. I know I said I was going to play the demo, but now there's really no point considering the game's coming out this week. You know what I mean? I'm going to be playing it, so what's the point of doing the demo when I have the retail release? But I will not be starting Binary Domain probably until Friday, and it's basically because of tests I have this week. Tuesday, I have a genetics test, and Thursday night, I have a very big and very important midterm exam in my organic chemistry lab, and if it sounds bad, it is bad. And so I'll be studying very hard for those tests this week. And normally I begin games on Wednesday nights, because that's usually when I receive the game in the mail. But Wednesday night I'm going to be studying like a mad person for my exam on Thursday. And then Thursday the exam is actually at night from 6 to 8 p.m. So by the time I'm done with that exam and I come home, I'm not going to want to jump into a new game. I'll be probably beaten down at that point, and I'll just want to go to bed. So I anticipate starting Binary Domain on Friday, and that's okay, because next week, the release week of March the 6th, the game Mass Effect 3 comes out, and as I've said many times before, but I'll say it again in case somebody missed it, I'm not doing Mass Effect 3 on release week. I'm doing it in the summer to allow myself time to complete the first 2 games, Mass Effect 1 and 2, before I jump into Mass Effect 3. Therefore, that week is actually open for me, so if Binary Domain spills into that week, who cares? It doesn't make a difference. So what I'm planning on doing is starting Binary Domain over the weekend, and then finish it up next week, anything I have to do. And my plan is also to receive Syndicate from Gamefly next week and do the single player of Syndicate as well, considering, like I said, that it's an open week, and do the game review for Syndicate. So that's basically the plans. There's not going to be any new footage up on my channel probably all the way until Friday evening. Unfortunately, it's the way it is when you're in college. If I had free time, I'd probably find other things to do. I would play something. But because considering I have these tests and I don't have any games with me that are impending that I need to play, I'm not going to be doing any footage. So I'm going to leave this video up as the main video basically until Friday evening so everybody knows what's going on and people can see this video. So that's the plan. We will get back on a schedule. March the 13th is Silent Hill Downpour. March the 20th is Operation Raccoon City that we're looking to do co-op. So there will be a schedule. We'll be getting back to a schedule at some point. Everything's just screwed up right now because of what happened with GameFly, the fact that the games right now are sucking and I'm not able to get through them. So right now it's just kind of a weird situation, but I'm going to make the most out of it. I will be doing Binary Domain this week. I will be doing Syndicate single player and do a review of that coming sometime next week. And I'm skipping Azura's Wrath, playing it. I will be watching a playthrough of it. So I apologize if you don't like the new plans, but that's the deal. That's what's going on. So thank you for watching. I know it was a long update this week, but a lot of things happened and there was a lot of content that I wanted to discuss. Last final thing, there is a free DLC that I believe is coming out any day now. It may already be out for Gotham City Imposters. It's going to add a new map, new weapons, new gadgets, all sorts of things to the game. And because of that, at some point, most likely next week, I will probably be doing another set or two of Gotham City Imposters to check out the new DLC content. And my phone is ringing right now, so I'll give them a call back. But anyway, shut up. Okay, so anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm Voodoo51292. Please be patient this week. Go watch some of the other footage on my channel. Go watch the Mass Effect 3 stuff. Go watch Syndicate if you desire over the next 4 days while I'm away studying. Wish me luck. I will be back this weekend with Binary Domain. Watch Voodoo through episode 4. All the stuff you missed, catch up. And then I'll see you this weekend with a new game. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Voodoo51292. Happy to be with you as always, and I'll see you guys later this week. So thank you for watching. By the way, follow me on Twitter at Voodoo51292. You should do that so you can be up to the minute on all things going on my channel. So thanks guys. I'll see you this weekend.